Let's get ready to grumble!
Apology not accepted. And I think I speak for the rest of the union when I say it is unacceptable, it is disgusting for you to sit up here and act like you have any concern for the people and not address the citizens' needs. This didn't just happen. We didn't just fall into a housing crisis. This was going on before the pandemic. You all knew what was happening before the pandemic, before anything happened with the COVID-19. You failed. And for that failure, we will meet you at the ballot box. You have an obligation and an opportunity tonight to write a resolution simply for the people to have representation.
All right, folks, this is Steve, and this is Let's Get Ready to Grumble, as you heard. Folks, we're not going to do any crazy costumes today. That's for next week. This week, I'm going to talk to the firebrand that I wish was running in here in central Pennsylvania where my butt sits. And her name is Latasha Holloway, and she's out of the Congressional 3rd District of Virginia. She's got a story to tell, and this story is why you're getting all my costumes put off to the side for a week, because what she's got to say is super important. Many of you guys out there are always talking about third parties and talking about, oh, they made a mistake. They ran as a Democrat, and folks push back and they say, well, the Democrats have a stranglehold. There's no getting through the phalanx of the Democratic Party. Well, Latasha is trying to do exactly that. And she has been just literally fought tooth and nail every step along the way just to even get her name on the ballot. Folks, just to get her name on the ballot. As you all know, I am not afraid to use the name Addie Barkin in my podcasts or my shows, because Addie Barkin celebrated the Green Party being removed in Pennsylvania and North Carolina and all these other things. People like him have done this stuff over and over again. And they are absolutely the celebrated ones in the Democratic Party. But I'm here to tell you that we should be celebrating folks like Latasha instead, who are doing the real hard work, because they're helping change laws. They're helping provide a pathway for others. Since all you want somebody other than a Democrat, it takes a lot more than one. Trust me. And she's about to tell us about that. Latasha, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Well, your story is riveting. But I want you to do me this solid. First of all, tell us who Latasha Holloway is and why we want to pay attention to your candidacy.
I am here today representing not only the Virginia Beach Coalition, as I am the director of that nonprofit that's been doing so much good in the community, and I stand in solidarity also with that Virginia Beach Coalition, surrounded by so many like-minded environmental warriors, to announce my candidacy to represent Virginia's 3rd Congressional District.
I am the candidate for all whistleblowers, and I hope to be a loudspeaker for every citizen that is in America that believes in our democracy. If we are to continue the democracy that we believe in, we're going to have to stand up, stand united, but it's going to have to come from a place of independence. I do not believe the future of our democracy is going to be weighing heavily in the Democratic Party or the Republican Party. We need independence to stand up and have a voice.
Well, you know, we talk about this all the time elsewhere and on the show about, you know, everybody's putting down folks that run as a Democrat. And let's be fair, when you run as a Democrat, you've got a chance of the Democrats putting you forward. You've got a chance there. But as an independent, they're not your friend, are they? They're doing everything they can to block you from even getting your name on the ballot. What has been this battle? What are they fighting you on? What are they doing, man? I can't even imagine. I'd be so angry.
I'm furious. So what we're talking about here is the good old boy system, right? And we have to do all that we can do to purge that system. We can no longer sustain an America where we have these white supremacist ideals that block freedom, literal freedom. So what I have been doing, I've sued the city of Virginia Beach to ensure that their apartheid voting system was struck down. It has been successful. The city of Virginia Beach has taken me all the way to the 4th Congressional Circuit fighting. Do you understand? That's fighting to keep Jim Crow where Jim Crow has always been. And so I've had to really work hard to galvanize the community, educate the community about what it really means to have systems like that in place. Those systems don't just keep people of color from having an equitable voice. They keep poor people from having an equitable voice. They keep communities of people that have disabilities, that have any kind of impairment, from having an equitable opportunity at the table. So if you want to see a community where everybody is invited, we have to strike down those systems. And how I have been successful in striking them down is utilizing the judicial system. And I encourage any and everyone to do the same.
You know, it sounds to me like we got to put a dot on this I and a cross on this T here. You're not fighting the Republicans. You're fighting the Democrats. The Democrats are coming at you because they don't want you on the ticket. And for all you vote blue, no matter who's out there, I want you to think about what I'm telling you. You claim to love democracy. Liar. You claim to want to see fair representation. Liar. You claim to want to give a voice to African Americans and other people, minorities who are struggling, who have been left behind. Liar. The fact is, the only thing you care about is a D in front of their name. And here we got an independent that probably runs for every single thing you claim you want. And she's struggling because your party, the Democrats, are literally blocking her. Talk to me about your platform, because your platform sounds like the kind of platform I might want to get behind, but I'd rather hear it from you.
My platform is a platform that supports the rights of everyone, especially women. So imagine how disgusted I was to be living in the Commonwealth of Virginia Beach, or Virginia rather, that took the prime opportunity for women to be at the top of the ticket for the Democratic Party, and they squandered it. They went back to that good old boy system, and they went and found an old governor from a couple times ago and pushed qualified women out of the place of being at the top of the ballot. If that didn't speak volumes to every woman that considers themselves to be a Democrat, I don't know what will. I did go to them, and I did try to encourage the Democratic Party to do the right thing. You know, these women, they completed their documents. They went through all the strain and the struggles of becoming qualified candidates. Your candidate didn't even sign a declaration of candidacy. He didn't even complete all of the tasks and responsibilities that your rules say that he should have. And what did you do? You gave him the good old boy pass. We won't accept that. So if you want to talk about my platform is one of common doggone horse sense, as my grandmother would call it. My platform is one that ensures that everyone has an equitable opportunity, that everyone has a means that can construct and deconstruct some of these systems that have been oppressive and been, siphoning out of the resources out of our communities. My platform is one that ensures that every voice is heard. And that is what I've been going around, all around the 3rd Congressional District, all around Hampton Roads, and really trying to speak truth to that power, to ensure and empower women to stand up and not be afraid that the Democratic Party isn't supporting you. If you can stand as an independent, just as I have done, and be a write-in candidate if you have to be, but this is what has to happen in order for us to reclaim our democracy.
You know, you had said something in your materials that you have online about ranked choice voting, that this is something that matters, right? Mm-hmm. But one of the things that I bring up to people that raise ranked choice voting as a good idea, and it's a great idea, mm-hmm. but you've got to get Democrats to vote their vote away their power. Their power is the duopoly power that they have between Democrats and Republicans, and it's really monopoly power within the people that are even pseudo left, sort of left. They represent the monopoly for that. Here you are running and trying to get in the door, and if they don't prop up a token, they use tokens. They don't actually do meaningful reform. They don't do meaningful support. It's always token. Tell me somebody that Kamala Harris represents, please. Tell me. She's literally taking money and using all kinds of horrible things as a prosecutor to oppress the very people that we're lifting her up there to say, see, look, we brought a person of color in there. But that's not grassroots. It's not people saying, yes, we want that person. This is manufactured nonsense. And here we got you who literally are putting the boots on the ground, the do to the work. You're literally doing, you're a human doing. You're doing this stuff. And lo and behold, where are they? They're out there propping up another old white Dixiecrat in good old Southern Virginia once again. And lo and behold, this is the Democratic Party. They are not going to vote away their ranked choice. They're not going to give you ranked choice voting. It would require, in my opinion anyway, a whole bunch of people willing to be one-term candidates, willing to go in there to be a disruptive force, one term, make some things happen to make this kind of change come true, because you got to realize the empire will strike back. There is going to be a counter revolution. Every time you do something, there's an equal and opposite, maybe even stronger, because they got money, right? Talk to me about how you make ranked choice voting happen in a system controlled by a monopoly, if you will, monopoly of the duopoly.
Right. So it's funny that you asked that question, because that was one of the questions that was posed to me when we were in the stages of trying to identify and understand what type of electoral voting system should be put in place. Fortunately, that decision was not left to me, even though that's basically what my lawsuit was, but it gives the municipality, that locality, the opportunity to decide. And, so ranked choice voting in the situation of the city of Virginia Beach would not have been the best choice currently, only because, like you said, that block voting that has already subjected the masses of others to not have a voice would drown out, once again, the opportunities for communities of color or for our persons with disabilities to have an opportunity to identify and to get a candidate of their choice in leadership. So in that respect, it would not have benefited all communities within the city of Virginia Beach for another 50 years. Now, do we have 50 years to continue living in pain, continue having our kids killed on the corner, continue having our kids not educated, continue having our seniors not and subjected to poor conditions because we're not giving them the resources that they are entitled to? No. Okay. So what should have happened, and what pisses me off about the Democratic Party, true leadership comes from those leaders who are not afraid of having and educating, training, promoting, and supporting leaders that are going to come behind them. Instead of having the good old boy system where you have the same people with the same ideas and nothing changes and we remain stagnant and our condition never changes, as the Democratic Party has subjected us to. What really should have happened is there should have been opportunities for training some of these young people that have not been given opportunities to express some of the leadership qualities that they could bring to the table. Instead, our youth are shunned off to the side. And then the next complaint that we have is, oh, look at all these young people not working and they don't want to do this and they don't want to do that. That's not the case. The problem is, are you affording them the opportunity to sit at the table? And the answer to that is no. The Democratic Party has done a very good job of continuing white supremacist ideals. Believe it or not, some of the persons that are, gaining the most benefit are people that should be voting like you and I. That's what is so worrisome. That's what should concern people, because you start to see a trend. And when people see trends, and those coming up that are trying to get into leadership positions see trends, they look to those who seem to be getting in some way, attention, if you will. And the Republican Party appears to be affording communities of color opportunity. It's a lie. We know it's all a charade. We know that, they get their centerpiece, if you will. But the problem is that the Democratic Party has not done enough to sustain new leadership within the party. People are tired of seeing the same faces that have lied to them over and over again.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? I am sick and tired of corruption. And for those persons in my community that are sick of the corruptors, stand with me and let's burn it down to the ground. Because we can start with grassroots. We can start from the bottom, and we can build what we envision as being the democracy that we know we deserve here in America. Right? We don't have to rely on the old systems if we know they're defective. And so that's what needs to happen. People have to be willing to subject themselves to discomfort, yes, because you don't have all the money from the Democratic Party. You don't have the money and attention from the Republican Party. I'm not friends with anybody's party, because as far as I am concerned, you've all failed the community, okay?
Yes.
Let's get to work. We don't have time for the divisiveness. Let's unify, and let's ensure that the youth have opportunities. We have new leadership, fresh ideas, and we can make the change that we believe in our communities.
I love it. I want to talk to you about something important that you and I both share, and that is that we both have children who are, let's be fair, they are special needs. They require additional services to do the do, right? To do this world, they require additional support. My son gratefully has been able to attend regular kindergarten, things like that, with a lot of help. We've had a lot of help. The problem is that help is being paid at starvation wages at McDonald's. Hey, you could flip a burger and make the same amount of money you make as a BSS or BSC or whoever else, the other different types of support that they provide to children with special needs. In Pennsylvania, it's run a certain way. You've experienced this in spades, and you fought the fight. Tell me a little bit about your struggle as a parent with a child with special needs, and as a political aspirant.
Well, every mom and dad that has had to endure an IEP,
thank you,
understands the struggle of an IEP parent, right?
Yes.
The sad news is that those systems that are in place for kids with unique needs really haven't changed in like 30, 40 years. And when we think about all of the technology, all of the new inventions that would benefit individuals with disabilities, that is a despicable thought that the children in the educational system are not being given or even exposed to some of those technologies, not because they don't exist, but because our leadership don't find the funding when it matters. I would say that that's a time when we need to, make up funding matter, right? That would be number one on my list, to make sure that the money gets to the kiddos, right? Unfortunately, our children have not been a priority. They have taken a back seat. And as a parent of children with special needs, that was the biggest motivating factor. What do you mean my children's lives don't matter? And you are literally mistreat them and abuse them because you don't think that their voice is even audible. Okay? That should disturb everyone. We have to get to a place where we understand that God gives us individuals on this planet that bring light, not burden. Okay? And we have the responsibility as a community to ensure that those persons live safe, happy, equitable lives. And we failed. So one of the things that I plan to do once I get in the seat in the 3rd Congressional District is we're going to look at reforming our child care system. Why don't we have a daycare that's counted as part of our educational institution? And we could even take it even further than that. So we want to ensure that people are able to work and moms are able to get back to work. Dads are able to get back to work without the burden of thinking, where's my child going to be able to be cared for while I work, right? Daycare is the largest expense in most households.
Oh,
so why aren't we talking about what really matters? Okay? What matters is if that burden can be lifted off of the shoulders of parents, then we would have an opportunity for a little bit more food to be on the table, wouldn't we? We would have an opportunity for that tank to be filled to full instead of just putting a quarter in at a time, wouldn't we? Right? These are realistic issues that everyday people go through, that these politicians that are millionaires, they haven't a clue and couldn't buy a vowel. Okay? I want to see a community where we not only have opportunities for our youth to have a daycare program, but many of us are taking care of the baby boomer generation. And we want to get back to work, but we don't want mom or dad or uncle and auntie to suffer. One thing that most people don't know about me is I have always been an advocate for our veterans. I've always been an advocate for persons with disabilities. So one of the things that I do, I literally go on the street, and if I find a senior citizen that is in need, they're coming home with me. Why don't we have opportunities for persons who are caretakers to have some means of compensation? The foster care system for our veterans does not work successfully. Okay. My veteran is proof of that. Okay. I want to overhaul those systems. Okay. I want to make sure that here in Virginia, I don't know, about Pennsylvania, but in Virginia, foster families receive an income for children that are removed from families. However, if you are blood related to a child that is removed from that family, you cannot receive compensation. How bizarre is that? Why aren't we having that conversation about literally you are promoting then the destruction of families because you'd rather give that $1,000 a month to a foster family than providing that extra hurdle help for the family, blood family relatives that may need that hurdle help every month to care for that child. Okay.
You brought up something very important. I want to, before you get too far afield with this, I want to bring this up. So as you know, I am a modern monetary theory evangelist. I eat, breathe, sleep, talk, think, you name it, MMT every day. And one of the most important factors of MMT is the federal job guarantee. The federal job guarantee being federally funded, meaning the creator of the currency paying for it.
Make the number.
Exactly. The local communities, they get to fund those things. And one of the things that we talked about with funding a federal job guarantee would be, in fact, for caregivers, for these type of things. Exactly. Redefining what work is, even things that we think are valuable, that we need in our lives, that are not valuable to the man, but they're valuable to us, the clan. Not for the man, but for the clan. Right there you go. I'm going to keep that one. So if we think about that, the federal job guarantee, and the only reason why I'm bringing this up, I wouldn't take a naked shot on an MMT with a candidate when I've not. I know that you know MMT, and I know that you're an MMT advocate, right?
I am. So absolutely.
to me, this is a big deal. The federal job guarantee is not about competing with private industry. It's not about competing with other jobs. It's about funding those things that are not considered valuable, the care work in the community, literally creating sustainable communities, local communities where people are investing their time and labor to help their neighbors and to be a part of society once again. Imagine how invigorating it would be to show up to the town hall and have every single person there that wants a job, has a job, and has a say-so in what jobs are brought to bear. I mean, this is the ultimate. It's just like pouring steroids on democracy to me. This is the ultimate in performance enhancing drug when it comes to an economy that doesn't work for people. And the thing that I love about this, and I'm sorry for pontificating, but this is so passionate. I'm so passionate about this. The idea of having a federal job guarantee, a job as a right. If you want it, you got it. No problem, right? Within that space, now all of a sudden, you're not dealing with the kind of xenophobia that comes from immigrants coming into the country because they're not taking your jobs. Everyone's guaranteed a job. You're also not dealing with some of the bigotry and stuff. This literally flattens the curve on that. Now, it's not perfect. There's a lot of other work to be done. Let me be crystal clear. I mean, a lot of work, right? But in terms of we're going to stop the bleeding. Right. Let's stop the bleeding. Here we go. Now, all those people, all that generational poverty, and I know Hampton Roads, and I know Virginia Beach, and I know Newport, and all that. I know that there's poverty down there, and I know a federal job guarantee would do wonders in that community. It would literally put an end to unwanted unemployment, and it would literally prevent generational poverty, and it would literally stop the local businesses from giving garbage wages to people that have no voice and just say, take it or leave it. Where are you going to go work? Well, I'm going to go work at the federal job guarantee for a living wage with living benefits. And voila, you have to meet or beat that to get me in there. What do you, I mean, I'm asking you, like I just sold the thing, but what do you think? I mean, am I crazy or is that the right answer?
I am a believer in MMT as well. And what is so exciting about it is the fact that it wouldn't just create jobs outwardly, right? It would physically force our local governments, our local cities, who happen to be some of the biggest employers every city has. It would force them also to give livable wages and what that means for us as opposed to what it means for the man, right? Yes. That is the beauty of it. It is literally cracking open these systems that have historically failed us. And it's rewriting it so that it works for everyone. It's common sense. And it's bothersome that, you know, there aren't more that have embraced it that are currently in leadership roles. But I guarantee you, get me in that chair and we're going to snap, crackle, and pop to get things going, you know, because it's about time. And, you know, I just believe, you know, my slogan has always been, get me there so I can fight like hell for your rights, because that's how passionate I am about this, you know. But MMT is where it's at right now. It is literally an opportunity for us to, like you said, it may not solve everything, but it does siphon off all the hemorrhage of loss that we have experienced over generations. It is a way to immediately be able to make a sustainable economy.
Yes.
It's simple. It really is that simple. So I'm a believer. I tell anyone that. And I believe that these types of improvements, even, like you said, it's us ensuring that the things that our politicians don't think about, they don't think about the fact that you had to get off early because the caretaker that you have keeping your dad, you know, has to get to school, get to their classes by 3:00 in the evening. They don't think about these things about our kids with special needs to ensure that they're able to catch a special needs bus out in front of their home instead of having to be dropped. You know, they don't think about the things that really impact us. And this is a means of us rectifying that. One of the things we have to do, we have to start looking within ourselves for the leadership we want to see in the world, and stop asking the Democrat or the Republican Party to please give me some bread. I'm not asking for anything. This is me taking it. This is me saying to the people, if this is what you want, elect me. I am here to be used and to be serving you. And you don't see politicians serving the community that elected them. You see politicians serving themselves. So stop electing politicians. Start standing up, mom that's sitting there folding her clothes on the sofa right now. Start standing up, dad, who has to take off 2 days from work this week because he doesn't have childcare so that he can take care of his kids. Start standing up and stop waiting on these parties who have been ineffective for eons to make the right choice. We have the power as the people, as grassroots leadership, to get the job done. And that's what I'm here to do.
I love it. Look, that is got me. I mean, I got goosebumps. You probably can't see them, but I was just vibing with you there. Let me ask you, as a means of taking us out. God, that was so great. It's like, I wish that could have been the takeout, but take us out here. Give folks, how do we find you? What do you need to get through this fight that you're in? Where are we at right now?
Where we're at right now is I am the director of the Virginia Beach Coalition. We are a coalition of schools, coalition of churches, private entities, nonprofits that are working collectively together as a resounding voice to bring effective change. We don't wait for anyone to do it. We do it ourselves. So if you believe in that plight, reach out to me. Go to www.vbcoalition.org and you can make your donations there for the coalition. You can join our coalition. You can write to me and tell me what your plight is. And hopefully you can join into the fold in the fight for our democracy. I am also running for the 3rd Congressional District seat here in Virginia. You can reach out to my campaign on Latasha Holloway for America.com. And I am happy to answer any letters that come in. I personally do respond to them. So please, please get out there, register people to vote, encourage your neighbors to get on a chain lettering is what we call chain calls that we're making to each other on election day, November the 8th, and ensuring that our voices are heard and that the people are putting their money where their mouth is. Okay. That's what we have to do. All right.
Awesome. Well, you listen, I really appreciate you. I appreciate what you're doing. You are like the springboard for so many others, I hope. And if your story and your fight gets people motivated to give it a shot, anything that reimagines and reinstitutes the public purpose and brings back a sense of being part of the community and fighting for candidates and people that are willing to place the people first over profits and over corporations and so forth. Boy, oh boy, what a powerful story. Well, listen, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. And folks, I'll be back to costumes next week. This week, Latasha Holloway is the subject, and I am so grateful to have her. And with that, we're just going to go ahead and get ourselves out of here. Take care, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for joining me, Latasha. It was such a pleasure.
Pleasure to be here.
Awesome. I'll talk to you later. Bye, everybody. We're out of here.
And still